Janet and John get the television repaired.
Oh.
Today, Janet is going to work. Janet says, "Don't forget that someone is coming over to fix that old television in the shed." John says, "Don't worry, Janet. I'll be here all day." Later that morning, there is a ring on the doorbell. Ding dong. John goes to the door. It's Mrs. Walton from the television shop. She says, "I've come to fix your television, Mr. Marsh."
Yes?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
You've seen this already, haven't you?
I'm collapsing early.
I know.
Yeah, go on.
Can't trust myself.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Has this been censored?
No, I can do this.
Yes, I know
Go
you
on.
can.
John takes Mrs. Walton up the back passage and through the garden.
I don't
to
see anything
show
funny
the
with that.
television.
What? That's perfectly all right. Carry on. I thought you'd cleaned this up, Paulie.
I did my best.
Mrs. Walton says, "It's rather an old one, isn't it?" "Yes," says John. "But it was working fine until last week when it went all blinky."
Blinky.
"Do you sometimes go all blinky?" John does. Mrs. Walton says, "Probably a bit damp down there. You shouldn't really keep televisions where it's damp." Silly John. John goes to make Mrs. Walton a cup of tea. When John comes back with a cup of tea, Mrs. Walton has finished working on the television. Clever Mrs. Walton. Mrs. Walton says, "While I was here, I fixed that old black and white television with its fuzzy picture. The aerial needs trimming." "Thank you, Mrs. Walton," says John. When Janet comes home, John is in the shed. Janet calls out to John, "Did you get the television repaired?" See John run in from the shed. "Yes," says John. "Mrs. Walton said..."
Not again.
I couldn't keep my fidelity in the shed. She soon fixed that. Then she tweaked my horizontal hold and afterwards trimmed my old fuzzy black and white bush so we could see it more clearly.
It's disgraceful.
See Janet Boyle. Paint Janet's face purple. John says, "What are you doing with the remote control, Janet?" See John run. "Run, John, run."